Hi and welcome to this new video, and in this video what I'm doing is I'm just building on something that we did in a previous flight tutorial, which is when we were looking at dive gates. And when we were looking at dive gates we practiced a particular way in which you do a dive gate, which is to fly up over the top of it, then roll without doing an axial roll, just an ordinary roll so your camera looks down, and then dive down through the dive gate. And the principle of this was to fly at it at such a speed that when you rolled to look down you were still travelling backwards over the dive gate, so that you could use the throttle to position when you wanted to stop to drop through the dive gate. I'll link that video up in the top right so that if you haven't seen that one you can check it out. But the principles that we're going to use in this video for dive gates are exactly the same, and what we're looking at here is doing a proximity dive on a tree. So I'm in the River 2 scenery here, and I've just flown up to an area where there is some suitable trees to play around with this, and then I've hit L to hit a custom reset point so that if I crash or if we have an accident we'll reset back to where we were. So I'm just going to turn off everything here and just bring my sticks on. Now the manoeuvre that we're going to be playing with, and I need to pick a kind of a tree on its own first of all, so we'll pick this tree over here to do this with initially, so there's nothing else that's going to kind of get in the way here. So the manoeuvre we're looking at is effectively exactly the same as a dive gate, so it's basically powering up and over something, looking down and then flowing past it and then flying back through and underneath. And what we want to do is to work on getting closer and closer to this tree doing this manoeuvre, because the idea of this is that it's a proximity dive, so we want to kind of float over the top of it nice and close like that and then come back down underneath it, and it's getting the timing of that so that you float past and then come back down and under. Exactly the same principles as the dive gate, in that you're kind of using the throttle to determine when you're going to stop and come down the other side of the tree, but you need that speed to drift you past it so that you can kind of look down and watch it go underneath you as you're flying past, like so, keeping the tree in view all the time, because that's the beauty of the manoeuvre, is that you want the people who are watching your freestyle to kind of see the tree as it passes below and how close you are to it, and that adds the dynamics and the excitement to the flight. Okay, so that's a single tree on its own, and that's the best place to start. Now the thing is, what happens if you get this wrong? Because if you're practicing this and you get this wrong in real life, you leave your quad in the top of a tree basically. So what we want is an escape maneuver. So what do we do if this looks like it's going wrong and we need an escape maneuver? Well, let's bring this up short, so we're kind of going to drop into the middle of the tree. I went a bit too far on that one, so let's bring this up short. Try again. Oh, I just made it past. Let's try again. Bring this up short. No, still over. One more go. Let's go way early. Yeah, so flatten out and power up is your escape maneuver. If you know that it's going wrong, then just flatten the quad and power up, and that's your escape maneuver. And that's something else that you want to practice. It's all very well practicing it going perfectly, so you can practice and say, hey, yeah, I've got this absolutely dialed in, absolutely nailed, no problem. And then you go out and you just bit of nerves and you get it completely wrong. So you want to practice that escape maneuver as well, because you don't want to be in the top of the tree. You want to be coming down here and saying, yeah, it's all good. No, power up, out. So we want to practice that maneuver as well. So deliberately bring your maneuver up short and just practice what you're going to do if it's looking like it's going to go wrong, because you don't want to be doing this and the first time you need to do an escape maneuver is with a real tree, because the chances are the first time you do this with a real tree you're not going to know what the escape maneuver is. It's all going to go wrong and your quad is going to end up right in the top of that tree. So it's important that you can see here I've got it wrong. So the escape maneuver, flatten out, just power up. get away from the tree, come around and have another go. So then we get into, well, how do we do this when there's lots of trees? And this is where it becomes a bit more complicated, because when you've got a bunch of trees like this, you're kind of looking for the holes to come down through, and you can only see those when you're up above it all. So you kind of power up, come up over the top, and now you're looking, you see, and I didn't see anything useful there, so I've headed for an escape route down and out. So I'm kind of looking for, where's my gap? Ah, yeah, here it is. And these are just a bit of positioning on the throttle to bring yourself out again. And practicing in a copse of trees like this again is a really good skill to develop in the sim, because you're developing that ability to kind of get up above something and have a look around, you know, work out where it is you're going and then come back down again. And again, this is very, very good for escape maneuvers, because, you know, in this instance I come right over the top and it's all nice and it's great. But there are ways in which I can come up over this, and then this doesn't look good, so I'm looking for, where's my escape manoeuvre, how am I going to fly down out of this. I can of course still go for the flatten out and power up, so you could say, okay, well, let's go up here and have a look. Nothing. Flatten out, power up, have another look, find a new space to come down through. That is another option for your escape manoeuvre, is just kind of give yourself a bit more time. So you come up over the top, have a look, nothing, have another look, not really anything, have a look, no, nothing. And now I can see one here, all the way down the side and round through there. So give yourself the option of, again, practicing that escape manoeuvre and making sure that you've got somewhere to go. There's nowhere to go in that, so I've just hit my escape manoeuvre and then found my way back down through. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover on this video, which is, you know, the safety working with real trees and practicing the escape manoeuvre as much as you do the actual manoeuvre that you're trying to complete.